Nowadays, it feels like the best games on Roblox are fueled by nostalgia. In a world where games like Grow a Garden and Steal a Brain Rot are at the top of the charts, it's refreshing to see that the majority of well-made Roblox games with invested audiences are innovative titles that are incredibly well crafted, representing the best of their respective genres. The main attribute shared by a majority of these games is their classic Roblox aesthetic and art style. A great example of this is Fighting, a game that I covered in a previous video, so if you'd like to learn more about that, feel free to check it out. But the most popular and well-produced, highly anticipated game in this category has got to be Blocktales: Swords of Time. Blocktales is a multiplayer, turn-based, story-driven RPG, inspired by the likes of Paper Mario and Earthbound, in elements of both combat and storytelling. In the storyline of the game, you are taken from the modern Roblox world to the year 2010. Builderman has been kidnapped, and the sword fights on the Heights swords have been stolen. After saving Shedletsky from a red and blue noob, he enlists you to reclaim each sword and help him save Builderman. You then travel across a retro Roblox world fighting enemies, collecting cards, and making new friends or foes in a venture to save the world. I will be going over all of the traits that makes Blocktales one of the best modern games on Roblox, starting with the most obvious topic, the gameplay. As mentioned previously, Blocktales draws inspiration from classic turn-based RPGs, offering a variety of upgrades, skills, and tools to make combat as engaging as possible. Blocktales combat revolves primarily around three main abilities: sword, ball, and everything else. Sword counters shielded enemies, while ball counters flying enemies. Miscellaneous abilities include applying status conditions, dealing damage over time, or giving a buff to an ally. The variety of skills available to the player allow for more unique combat encounters and much more memorable boss fights. The combat wouldn't be nearly as in-depth if it weren't for the deck building system. Blocktales has three different stats: heart points, special points, and build points. HP obviously being for your character's health, SP acting as a mana system for using power-ups, and your build points being the currency used to show how many cards you can put in one deck at a time. Some cards increase the versatility of your sword or ball, allowing players to hone in one specialization of a specific weapon. There are cards that you can use to buff your allies or yourself. All cards have their own specialized use and varying versatility depending on the number of players in your party. The openness to create your own style of combat without altering the formula for battle is what makes the combat of Blocktales so unique and engaging, either as a single player experience or with friends. This game is just like so cool. It would be super awesome if there was somebody who was like streaming it on their Twitch channel and playing through the whole game. Wait, that's wait, who is that? What? What's the point of a good combat system without an entertaining, well-developed story to follow along with? Blocktales really draws you in from the start, with their witty jokes and well-paced chapter-formatted story updates. Each chapter has the player traveling from one major location to another, learning more about the history of this world, the value of the swords, and those who protect them. Each chapter has a different theme and ambiance, making each new section feel fresh and unique. Chapter 3 receives the most praise for its well-developed exploration of the player character's lore and their backstory. Each chapter also hints more and more towards the eventual uncovering of the main antagonist of the game's plot through dialogue with chapter villains and other characters, such as Shedletsky and the mayor of the Jungle Town that I have no clue how you pronounce the name of. Stories without characters that you care about are rarely as impactful as they could be. Luckily, the creators of Blocktales understand this and really hit it out of the park with their characters. There are many reoccurring characters, such as Red and Blue or Tutorial Terry, who not only have memorable designs, usually reminiscent of classic Roblox characters, but also have their own unique text bubble designs and shining personalities. The chapter villains are also compelling characters that often have a personal reason for fighting against the player in their ventures, for better or worse. Oftentimes, you'll find yourself caring more and more for these characters, even if they are out to get you for the majority of the time you know them. Terry is a great example of a character who grows on you as the game goes on. He starts as your tutorial guide, being quite rude to you, but he tells you the controls and provides more and more details as they become more relevant. However, as the story progresses, you're introduced to a softer side of Terry, as well as meeting his younger brother, Jerry. Terry's visits turn from a verbal attack with a side of how to play the game messages to a friend doing his best to keep his brother safe and enjoying his company, helping you wherever you can, albeit somewhat reluctantly. Blocktales also does an incredible job at rewarding players for not only exploring, but for simply paying attention. There are countless instances of callback jokes or witty quips that would likely go unnoticed by those who rush through the game, ignoring NPCs and skimming through dialogue. The amount of effort put into things as simple as ensuring almost every single NPC in the game has something amusing to say or make some kind of reference is the kind of dedication that it takes to create a game as beautiful as this. In my previous playthroughs, I've gone out of my way to interact with every single NPC in the game just to make sure I don't miss some random one-off joke that may become plot relevant later in the story. Additionally, the game features a number of references to other Roblox content creators and games, most of which can be found in the prologue. With a soundtrack to rival the likes of Nintendo, gameplay more engaging than most other Roblox games currently running the platform, and a story with characters who take hold of your heart from the moment you meet them, it's easy to see why Blocktales is so popular. I can say with complete confidence that Blocktales is one of the best games to ever come out of Roblox, not only in the past few years, but likely in its entire lifetime. Blocktales Swords of Time marks the turning point in Roblox content, in my opinion, and will hopefully continue to grow and inspire others to follow suit, even more than it already has.